So Record of Ragnarok chapter 91.2, as this month's chapter actually serves to be the second half of chapter 91 from last month. As I said, you guys have kept killing the like goals. This is one of the biggest videos on the channel, so I'm setting the lofty goal of 200 likes for this video. I know you guys can hit it. Get this video pushed out to more people, get more Record of Ragnarok fans on board with the series. And I'll have some news for next month's chapters at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end. We start the chapter with Locke, Jax, Valkyrie watching the fight on the screen. They got this old-fashioned TV too, which is hilarious. And Locke is like, that one was close. Obviously talking about the Ame no Mageshi from the last chapter, and obviously Susanoo's words about how this next one was going to be it. She says, what the hell is that technique? There's no opening. There's not even a gap. She says, hey Jack, if you were the one there, would you have had a way to counter this attack? Jack sips his tea and says, I think so. If Susanoo distances himself, he gathers enough energy to unleash a powerful attack capable of destroying a city. If one attempts to close the distance, he will respond with a compact attack without any preparations. It's a combo that's literally impregnable. However, there might be a possibility. If one were to break the core of that move, Locke says, core? Could you elaborate? And Jack puts out his palm and says, his left hand. These are great panels of Jack, mind you. We got a close-up of his face using his ability. He's able to use his ability through the TV screen. I talked about this in my early spoiler breakdown. He says, whenever he directs his left hand towards his opponent, I see deep emotion of confidence and conviction. Mayhaps that left hand is the very key, the essential element to hit his target. We got that cool panel of Jack's eye glowing with Susanoo's hand in the background. Jack says, I dare to say it's necessary for him to aim using his left hand to control that immense power. Therefore, if I was in this position, if I was the one fighting, I would try to shatter the core of that technique, the left hand. Indeed, I would use any means necessary. This is super interesting stuff. Obviously, we've seen that Susanoo is basically using his left hand as a scope. It's his rangefinder. And it's what gives him the confidence and conviction. And I love the detail of one of the other fighters giving their perspective on how they would have countered this had this been their opponent, right? That's a super cool concept that I wish that they would dive into more. So we then cut to the battlefield. Susanoo and Okita are facing off again. We see some of the rubble in the background. Okita says, settle this with the next one, you say? And Susanoo, with his rangefinder out, blood all over his fingers, says, to be fair, I really wish this fight could last forever, but you can see he's brimming with confidence. He says, this is truly happiness. The two of them continue to face off, and just like before, the first one to make a move was the demon child Okita Suji. He does that same technique where he's darting in, darting out, darting in, darting out, trying to disrupt the range of Susanoo, trying to disrupt his pattern recognition and make him less confident in his strike, being unpredictable. Ares says, what is that speed? Hermes says, is he trying to use his speed to shift the aim of his left hand to create an opening? He's asking Zeus. And Zeus says, if that's really what he's planning, then that's nothing but a reckless strategy, isn't it? While he attempts to find an opening, he's giving Susanoo time to gather power. So the way that he's framing this is that like the aura around Susanoo is just like building up more charge. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I mean, it looks cool and it's a cool concept. But yeah, he's building up more power. He's just being calm, cool, and collected, just tracking Okita's movements every time he darts in and out. There is no way for him to deflect the next attack, says Zeus. If he messes this up, then he is absolutely done for. Then you get this amazing shot of a close-up of Susanoo's eyes with the hand in the forefront, with Susanoo seeing Okita through the palm of his hand. It's almost like he can see through his hand. And Okita's face speaks volumes here. He's definitely realized the threat Susanoo possesses, and now he has to be locked into every single moment of this fight. He's still got his demonic aura flowing, but Susanoo deduces that's it. That's the perfect spot. And he unleashes his sword strike, but Okita, to avoid the attack, jumps into the air. And throughout this, you see that Susanoo puts heavy emphasis on his legs for power. Draws his legs deep into the dirt before he strikes every time. And we see that Sasuke's Valkyrie wrist, she's happy. She's like, Okita dodged it. He's so fast. He dodged it completely. But Sasuke's face is terrified. He's like, oh no, that's not good. Because what Okita did is he opened himself up even further, because the only way to avoid this attack was in the air. But that just means he's afloat in the inescapable sky. And you see immediately on Susanoo's face, he's got this smug expression. He says, a beautiful death indeed, midair. He knows that as soon as Okita jumped in the air, he was in his range and completely helpless to a sword slice. At least that's what he thinks. Okita is completely locked in, no expressions on his face. He's preparing for what's taking place, and the panels of Susanoo are amazing, mind you. Susanoo with a wide smile says this is over and screams out, Ame no Mageshi, Reverse Heavenly Demon, Mugen, Ceaseless once more. Both the humans and gods believe that the battle was over. We get these amazing shots of Okita midair, Susanoo unloading the attack. However, the sword demon alone smiled. And this is probably my favorite panel ever of Okita. It's up there with last chapter, because the last chapter was just pure demonic fucking aura energy, like he looked like a straight up smoke demon. But this one looks insane in its own right. It's just pure flowing aura with his sword, his katana there. And essentially what he does is he throws his katana to the ground. This shocks everybody in the crowd, Zeus included. He throws it and it lands right in the foot of Susanoo, knocking him off balance, catching him completely by surprise. And Susanoo, who was mid-strike, mid-swing with the Ame no Mageshi, completely missed his target. Okita then drops right in front of Susanoo, grabs his sword with the most sinister grin, and slices the sword out of Susanoo's foot and cuts half the foot clean off. So as I put emphasis on the fact that Susanoo draws power with his legs, he always digs them into the dirt. Now he's lost that attribute. Susanoo gets knocked back. He's falling to his back, but he braces himself in the ground with his hand. The narrator says the defenseless leap into the sky was a bait from the sword demon himself. In that very moment, Okita Tsuji challenged the sword god Susanoo no Mikoto that was supposed to surpass him. So in this moment, when Okita sliced this foot clean off, he has Susanoo right where he wants him. He has him reeling, has him on the back foot, has him falling down, and now he has an opening to strike him down. Even Jack seems to be impressed. Zeus definitely seems impressed. But as I said, as Susanoo falls back, he braces himself with his hand. Okita leaps back into the air once more, this time prepared to finish Susanoo off with one aerial strike. But Susanoo's not done. He says, "A beautiful death mid-air." That's what I said, didn't I? And he literally rips into the ground with his fingers. Instead of his foot this time, uses his fingers to drive the force as a second leg essentially. Uses his other hand to slam his blade into the ground, draws power from the ground, and then slices directly upwards. A vertical strike that has Okita locked in, has him in the inescapable air, and this time he's got no counter, gets slammed by the attack. The four cardinal behaviors, Yojuzaga. This is a stance designed to counter the enemy's attack from any direction. That is the essence of IA. It says that Susanoo named this technique after the 8-layered clouds that billowed up into the sky, reaching the heavens. It is called Reverse Heavenly Demon 8 Clouds, Yakumo. And like I said, paneling is amazing here. Okita realized he was cooked midair. He knew it was too late, and he got slammed by this technique. The slice goes directly into the air. It looks insanely impressive, and Okita is ravaged by the attack. He goes wide-eyed, looks like he's losing consciousness, bleeding all over the place. We don't really get to see the scope of the damage, but it's a serious, serious blow. Susanoo, with a smug expression on his face, says, "How unfortunate, Okita, but victory is mine." Great ending to the chapter. That is the final panel. It is a big cliffhanger, but honestly, this actually could have been the final sequence of the fight. I would have had no problem with that because it was such an epic moment. Okita thinking he was a step ahead with the sword throw, and Susanoo just responding, adapting to it in the moment and countering it. Now it's going to be very interesting to see how they write this to make it make sense how Okita survives this slash, because he got hit clean, and how Susanoo adapts to having to fight now with only half a foot. Is he going to lose power on his strikes? We'll have to see. Also, perhaps the most interesting thing to note about that final slash was that Susanoo did not have to use the rangefinder. His other hand was placed in the dirt. Maybe that's how Okita survived. Maybe the confidence and conviction wasn't there because his left hand wasn't able to pinpoint the exact location. That's something to think about. Or potentially, maybe Jack the Ripper was wrong. Maybe Susanoo doesn't have to rely on that hand and that he's just as deadly without it. So these are all questions that we're going to get answered that I am looking forward to. Now, like I told you guys at the beginning of the video, we do have some news about next month's release. So as I reported in my spoiler video, the leakers were telling us that actually this fight was scheduled to end next month. But we do have confirmation that we're getting a double chapter next month. Here it says 93 and 94, but since this was 91.2, I assume it's going to be 92 and 93. The first one is going to finally be Okita's backstory, and we will get the reveal of his Valkyrie. And then the second chapter will be the concluding moments of the fight. So 2 chapters to close this out. I think that works fine. We're at the culmination of this fight, the climax of the fight. Hopefully they stick the landing with the ending. And of course, I'll be here covering it. So make sure you guys are locked in, subscribe for all that. And Apocalypse with the Gods Chapter 2 is still yet to be translated, but I will get that video out as soon as I can for you guys, so make sure you're paying attention for that. Ku Kulin versus Ra, that fight is supposed to be going crazy right now. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.